Hi, and welcome to the 21st episode of 3 Minutes with the Author. Yep, you heard that right, episode 21. Be sure to check out the first 20 episodes of this free, fun, fast, and interactive video series where I bring you exclusive author interviews and the latest in book news. It's a wonderful opportunity to discover new to you authors, learn more about your favorite writers, and find your next great read. I'm your host, Shail Rajan, and joining me today is Gabi Coatsworth to tell us a bit about herself and her debut novel, A Beginner's Guide to Starting Over. Gabi, welcome to the show. Let's jump right in. What's one thing you'd like readers to know about you and your writing style?
Well, I guess what I'd like them to know, and they would discover it fairly quickly, is that I write with an English accent, which means that I have a slightly English sense of humor in there, and it's a little bit quirkier, I think, than some American authors. It is slightly different, but people seem to enjoy it, and they say it sounds like me, which I guess is a compliment.
That's great. Well, tell us a bit about the book.
Okay, well, the book is about a 40-something widow whose friends are asking her to start dating again, and whose wicked landlord is trying to put her out of business and trying to date her by putting up fake photos of himself online. And as she's looking at some fake photos, the ghost of her dead husband shows up and says, "You can't go out with that guy. He's way too old." And he's there to help her find a replacement for himself, who's not quite as good, obviously, but will do. And he turns out to be dreadful at it.
Okay, that sounds like such a fun read, and I am adding it to my TBR list right now. Where can readers find your book online?
It's available. It's available to order from, the usual suspects: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Bookshop.org, and Walmart and Target. And they can order it from any bookstore.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, are you working on another project?
Yes, because what happened was that the ghost was not supposed to be the main character here, but I'd been planning a sequel that, instead of taking place in a bookstore, was going to be in the library. And suddenly this ghost showed up in the library, and I was like, what? He wasn't supposed to be there. So now it's a different ghost. This one is a Victorian gentleman who's wandering about looking for his wife. He's lost his wife in the afterlife, and he'd like to find her.
Okay.
So our heroine has to see whether she can help him do that.
Oh, I love that idea. That's such a great concept, and it's so much fun when you're writing and all of a sudden a character just introduces themselves. You're like, okay, let's run with it.
Yeah, he's sort of taken over.
What's your favorite thing about being an author?
The thing I love the most is meeting readers, because writing, as you know, because of all the books you've written, is kind of a lonely business. I sit here in my office and I write, and I never really know whether people are going to read it, like it, understand it. So when I actually meet readers in real life and they tell me that they like their book, they like my book, and usually the ones who might not like it don't bother to tell me that, so that's good. But I wrote a memoir before this, and it was lovely to hear people say, I really got that part of your memoir because it resonated with me. And with this, people are sort of, hey, this is a book that I just loved reading on the beach. So I'm like, love to hear that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, what's a great book you've read recently?
I'm late to the action, but I read The Rose Code by Kate Quinn, which came out a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that because usually it's a World War II book that takes place in England. And often when American writers write about England at that time, they get a lot of things wrong, which drives me nuts. This one was perfect. It had been checked. Then the plot was fabulous. The characters were great. I was rooting for them and trying to work out who the bad guy was. It was, I love that.
That's wonderful. Well, that is actually it for us. A huge thank you to my guest, Gabi Coatsworth, whose debut novel, A Beginner's Guide to Starting Over, is now available. I'm your host, Shail Rajan. Stay tuned for For information on how to watch the latest episodes, find books by my guest, and see who else will be joining us on 3 Minutes with the Author. Thank you.